What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. Hope you're all doing very, very well. I want to talk for a minute about this whole Augment Rune. I don't know if it's a debacle, but that's kind of what I'm going to call it, I guess. This whole situation in this first week of this patch when it comes to the Augment Rune. There's a new permanent Augment Rune that you can get with the Dream Wardens. And basically, here's the premise. You have to get to Renown level 18 in order to unlock it. And that's a pretty high amount to try and get in the first week of a patch, especially because, you know, the most powerful forms of rep gain are like on a weekly reset basis, right? So you can't get it. You can't just necessarily farm it every 2 seconds. So how are people trying to get this this new Augment Rune, and is it worth your time? This is kind of what I want to talk about in this video really quickly. So first of all, the general strategy for getting this in the first place is to make an alt character. You have to make an alt, and the reason is you want to get this alt character to Renown level 10. That's going to unlock this Essence of a Worthy Ally buff. So what this does is it means all of your other characters, including obviously your main, is going to get double the rep for everything that they do until they reach rank 10. So you don't get just double rep permanently. It's until you reach rank 10. So this is my first sort of issue with this whole process, is that the amount of time it takes to get your alt character to Renown level 10 is kind of ridiculous. And I just got there now on my Hunter. My Hunter is my official alt, but this is like a fully geared Hunter. Like, I was 444 walking into this patch, so you can't do this on like a fresh alt. Like, you can't do this on a fresh level 70 with no gear. It's going to take you so long. Even with my fully geared out alt, it still took me, I would say, about 10 hours or so to get this rank 10, Renown 10 with the Dreamweavers unlocked. Now, this is the general strategy, right? You get an alt character, you have to bring them to the Darkmoon Fair, you get some tickets from this ticket lady, and then you have to go ride the carousel. Oh god, don't I have any tickets? I thought I had some. They must have run out. So you get some tickets. La 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 la. There we go. Okay, good. Now we have some tickets. We walk in here. We use a ticket on this carousel. This buff in the top corner is going to add up. This is your Darkmoon Fair buff. This gives you 10% more rep, okay? Once you get this Darkmoon Fair buff, then you can go to the Emerald Dream and you can start farming. And on your alt, you don't get any extra buffs, right? You're not getting that extra buff for getting to Reneg 10 because you're not at 10 yet. So to me, this is like the most frustrating part of this whole experience. It takes a serious amount of time. I farmed every world quest, every campaign quest, every side campaign quest, every world quest. A couple of them just reset now, so I have a couple of new ones to do. Every single thing I could possibly do. A bunch of extra seeds. I farmed the weekly Super Bloom event, and I farmed the actual weekly, like, aiding the Accord quest, which is with this guy as well. I did everything I could possibly do. And I only got to, like, Renown level 7. And then I had to grind from 7 all the way up to 10 to get to this mark just to unlock this buff. So, to me, the amount of time you have to sink into your alt just to get this, like, double rep buff for your main is kind of insane to me. It's a lot of time, and a lot of people aren't going to have the time to do this. And I want to just say, first and foremost, it's okay if you don't have the time to do this. And I would just say, really, TLDR about this whole thing is, like, you really do not need to farm this Augment Rune for week 1 if you don't want to. Remember, next week is when the season starts. Mythic Plus and Raider unlocked. And sure, it would be really nice to have this Augment Rune for that content, but you don't have to have it. It also costs 100,000 gold. It's right here. Rank 18 and 100,000 gold, and it gives you 86 primary stat. I don't even know if this is account bound, by the way. I believe it's account bound. That's what some people are saying, but I don't know yet because I can't get it yet. It also just says bind on pickup, not bind to account. So I don't know. I would be shocked if it wasn't account bound because 100,000 gold is a crazy amount of gold. But that's beside the point. It takes at least 10 to 12 hours of farming on an alt to get to Renown 10. You also need to go back and forth to the Darkmoon Fair every single hour to get this Wii buff, so you have 10% more rep. Once you do that, though, then you also need to bring in your main character, and you're going to need to farm the entire campaign over again with them. Okay, that's what you're going to have to do. That's the second thing you have to do. So let me bring in my shaman. This is not actually this is my main DPS character. I brought my shaman in. Unfortunately, with my shaman, I farmed a couple of things before getting the double rep buff because I didn't realize that this is what I had to do. So that's another thing. People, if you've already started farming some of the major quest lines without the double rep buff, you might as well just throw out this whole strategy. It's kind of pointless. Which is really depressing, but that's just the way it is. If you didn't start doing this from day one, you're kind of screwed. So just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. But if you still want to do it, here's my shaman. My shaman is current progress is level 4 with the Dream Wardens. I have done the entire campaign on my shaman and every side quest and every world quest except for the 2 that just popped up once again. So I've cleared the entire map with my shaman. I've saved all of my rep stuff down here. Okay, here's what you basically want to do. You want to get your main character to this point right here, where you've saved all these rep tokens in the bottom corner, and I haven't completed any of the major rep quests right here that just award you rep right away because I didn't want to ruin it. So you can see in the top corner here, I have 100% buff here. Dream Warden's rep increased by 100% up to rank 10. Here's what this is going to look like. I'm going to start completing all these quests, and we're going to see how much rep. Watch the bottom of my screen. I'm going to get a ridiculous amount of rep. This thing's going to go down here. Let me complete. There's a crafting quest over here that you need to do. And let me just talk about this really quickly. If you want to actually do this strat and get this Augment Rune, there's a couple of crafters right over here. This is in the main hub of Amir Drasil, okay? This guy has a bunch of supply these shipments of goods. This is what you have to do. So you have to do one of them, and then you have to do 5 of them. So the first quest, you do one of them, and you're going to complete that quest. And it's going to give you a bunch of rep and a seed. There's the one. Then she says, okay, here's the next quest. I need you to do 5 more. You can do any of these shipments that you want to do. You don't have to do one of each of them. You can just do the cloth one 6 times in a row. And that's what I would encourage you to do that. Just do the cloth quest once, okay, which means you have to gather 125 tattered wilder cloth, 25 wilder cloth, 15 chromatic dust, 3 vibrant shards. Do that once, then do it 5 more times for the 2 different quests. You'll complete 2 quests, you get a bunch of rep, okay? So here I'm going to package all 5 of them. 1, 2, 3. You can see my resources going down here. 4. This is the cheapest one to do, by the way. You go to the auction house, buy all these materials. It might be like 1,000 gold or something, maybe 1,200 gold to do all of them, and then you complete both of these quests, and this gives you a bunch of rep. Again, okay, I got renown level 5, so that's that quest done. Now I'm going to start unlocking all of these things. Oh, I got a crazy piece of gear, actually, which is super cool, although I already had a crazy piece of gear. But that's all right. There we go. We've unlocked that. Make sure I'm not missing anything rep-wise. There, I got 750 rep right here. I'm going to touch this thing. Instead of giving me 750, it gives me 1575. You can see in the bottom corner here. 1575 rep, okay? This is important to understand this point here. I'm going to do this bag. I don't think it gave me any rep, but that's fine. Now we're going to do the next one. 250 rep turns into 524 rep. Remember, I have my Dark Moon Fair bonus, and I have the Word of a Worthy Ally bonus going. Here's the next one. 250 again. We're on the next renown. I'm going to do the Harvested Dream Seed Cache. This is from, I believe, the either doing the Super Bloom or just getting the weekly done. Oh my god, I got a 441 piece of gear. This is the other cool thing about doing all this content, of course, is that you actually get some relevant gear. There is some relevant gear that starts dropping off of these guys, which is super cool. Okay, another 500 rep. This turns into 1049. Another 500 rep. This turns into 1049. We're going to do another 750 rep. That turns into 1575. We're at round 7 now. Another 250 rep. Okay, another 250 rep. And then here's a big 2500 rep. I'll do this in a second. We're going to do this Tangled Yarn of Secrets. This gives you a bunch of rep over and over again, which is pretty cool. 197, 46, 254, 21. And then it gives you an insight into, quote, gives you the best amount of rep possible with the Dream Wardens. Then I'm going to do the big one. This should give me at least 2 levels. The Mark of the Dream Wardens. So it got me to 10, and it's going to get me, I think, to 11, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, almost at 11. Look at, I'm literally right there. I'm on the cusp. I'm at 24, 23 out of 2,500. So this is going to get me to 11. So part of the problem with this character is that I did a few of my quests before I had the double rep buff. So that is a problem. But here's another one I'm going to complete here. This might give me a little bit of rep right here. Yeah, here's another big one. Okay, Scales of Remorse. So we're going to keep going here. I'm also going to complete this quest over here really quickly. And I'm going to go to talk to Moon Lady. Also, there's all these little... I don't know if these give rep or not. We're just going to complete them all. I don't think they do, but that's okay. Drake Dreaming Crest. Good, good, good. We'll finish this thing with Moonberry.
You're a special one.
Oh, there we go. Dreams Unified. That's the Spark one. Very cool. This also gets you your Spark, by the way. You combine these two together, you get the Spark of Dreams. So just doing all the campaign stuff's going to get you this. Here's another rep one right here. 2,500. Scales of Remorse. This menu rep thing. Let's see if there's any more left. I don't think I have any left. So I'm at 12 right now. And then... oh, yeah, I'm at 12. That's it. So I'm not even going to get to 13. So here's where you're basically going to end up if you do things correctly. Now, my Shaman, again, didn't do everything correctly. I'll correct this in a second. If you do everything correctly, you'll be at probably Renown level 13, maybe 13 and a half, maybe 14 if there's something I'm missing, like an additional quest that you could go do. There's a couple more world quests I could go do. And there's some seed quests, some Emerald Bounty seed quests that you could go do as well. In order to get that final bit there. But we're talking about only realistically being able to get to rank level 13 or 14. Let me add a little thing to this seed here. A couple of dewdrops. We'll just see if this gets me anything. Realistically speaking, if you do all the campaign stuff, all the side story stuff, a bunch of these seed quests, I'll talk about this in a second actually, as many extra quests as you can find, even these Emerald Frenzy quests that pop up, and you do the weekly Super Bloom, and you get the weekly Aiding the Accord thing done, you're going to be sitting at probably 14 Renown. That still doesn't get you to 18. You're still going to have to grind 4 more levels after that in this week in order to get to max level, in order to get to 18, which is where you're trying to get to. So it still isn't perfect. It still isn't going to get you all the way there, and it still is going to cost you a bunch of extra time in order to grind this all the way out to the final level. And I think that this, to me, is my final conclusion about this. Just really isn't going to be worth it for the average player. It's really not going to matter whether or not you have this Augment Rune in the first day of the season or whether or not you have to wait until the second week. I just got another 275 rep for that quest, by the way, right there. So, I'll just put myself over here. This is better. Okay. So this is kind of like my final conclusion I wanted to bring to you guys, that this Augment Rune is, a lot of people are just saying, like, get out there and farm it. It's super easy to get to rank 18 right off the bat. And there's probably a couple of little things that I'm missing. I'm aware of that. But the bottom line is, for the average player experience, like me, I'm an average, player here in WoW. You are not going to be able to farm this thing super easily in the first week. It's going to require, first of all, your ult needing to farm all the way up to rank 10. And this is not easy, okay? It's not. This takes time. Like, it takes a long time to get to rank 10 to get the buff unlocked. Then you have to go through the entire campaign a second time and do all the world quests a second time and all the side quests a second time, which is going to take you a few hours on your main character, and do as much as you possibly can. And you need to go farm these seeds, actually. You have to go farm 5 of these seeds. They just recently changed this. There's like a whole bunch of changes that came through on Wowhead related to this whole experience that I'm talking about. Let me just show you really quickly. There is... These are all new things, yada, yada, yada. There was hotfix again. A Dream Warden's Infinite Reputation Seed hotfixed again. Hotfixes, Seed Blooms, Dream Seeds, Time Walking Weekly Quest Reward. Those are changed again. Dream Warden's Reputation Seed, Infinite Farm, hotfixed again. Unawarded Seed Bloom, hotfixed. There was like 5 hotfixes that came through just for this seed stuff. Dream Warden's Reputation Seed, Infinite Farm, hotfix. So there was a bunch of different changes that came through. The most recent change basically made it so that the first 5 seeds, the Emerald Bounty seeds that you do, the first 5 that you do in a week are going to give you a lot of extra rep. And I was also, it didn't work with green seeds. It required blue seeds for a long time. But basically the first 5 seeds that you did per week are going to give you between 250 and like 500 rep. They were only giving like 24 rep for a long time. They were only giving 5 rep for a long time. Blizzard has finally sort of made a change on that. But the point is, you have to do all this stuff on your ult to get to 10. Then you have to do all this stuff on your main to try and boost past 10. And you'll only end up getting to like rank 14 anyway. And you still are going to have to grind those last 4 levels just to go get the Augment Rune that you're talking about, okay? So, is this worth it for the average player? Not really, no. Not to, like, push hardcore to get this in the first week so that you have it when you're doing Mythic Plus next week and you're doing Raid next week. It's not worth it, guys. It's really just not worth it. Do not stress over this thing. Do not burn yourself out over this thing. I promise you, you can grind this. You can grind a little bit of this in the first week and then a little bit in the second week, and you'll basically be just as far as everybody else who grounded out in the first week. And yay, they had it for that first week. Oh my God, that's crazy. But you can get it in probably the second week, and it's really not going to be that much of a difference for you. We're going to be stuck in this patch for 5 months. Okay, we're going to be stuck here for 5 months. We got November, December, January, February, March, April, at least probably. Then the Season 4 Faded raid is going to start, and you're going to go June, July, August, September, October. It's more likely going to go till May. We're going to be in this patch for 5 to 6 months, okay? So getting this Augment Rune in the first week of the expansion is patch, is really not the end of the world, and do not stress yourself over getting it. I've been trying to get it pretty steadily over the last 2 or 3 days, and this is as far as I've gotten, and it's it's just a very complicated process. It's a little bit ridiculous, and even once you've done everything perfectly, you might only be sitting at renown level 14, 15, and you're going to have to grind those last 3 or 4 levels. And that's not going to be a fun experience, let me tell you, because I've been doing it right now. It's not a fun experience, okay? So just keep that in mind, guys. I just want to do this sort of disclaimer video. For any of you guys thinking about doing this, you know, I don't want you to waste your time. It's certainly a great buff to have, but it's probably not worth the investment, honestly, in the first week anyway. Here's the last seed I'm going to get right here. Let's grab this sucker. Did I get some rep for that? I only got 5 rep for that one. See? 5. So, I don't know if this is my... Maybe this is my 6th seed for the week. I don't even know. It's really up in the air. But you can see this is kind of how the farm ends up going eventually. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Have you farmed this Augment Rune yet? Are you trying to farm it? I believe there's lots of other really fun things that you can do in this patch, by the way. For example, there's some really, really good transmog stuff you can get. I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of this stuff. Look at this cool transmog. I have this on my Hunter. You saw it on my Hunter at the beginning of the video. There's some sick transmog to farm in this place. There's some really fun things you can be doing in this new zone besides just trying to farm the Augment Rune. It's certainly the most impactful thing that you could be doing in terms of your player power, but it's not 100% necessary. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you all. Please let me know. Let's have a conversation down there. Thank you so much again for watching. I love you. I'll see you in the next one.